Welcome to the Go Pitch Win podcast, the show where entrepreneurs pitch their best business ideas to our industry leaders. Each week, one will move forward towards the grand prize, $10,000. One winner. So get ready. And now, here's your host, Greg Mercer.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Go Pitch Win. I'm your host, Greg Mercer, and today I'm joined by guest judge Liz Saunders.
Previously on Go Pitch Win.
The planner helps data-obese, time-starved people to achieve their goals, stick to their habits, and live a balanced, fulfilled life in a way that reduces stress and fights the ever-growing pull of digital addiction.
So Zon Tools at the core is a fully automated online advertising management system focused on Amazon sponsored product ads.
Which business will move forward? Find out today.
Liz and I both just listened to two different contestants pitch their ideas. The first one was from Rob Weiser with his productivity planner called Wise Fox. The other one was from Stefano and Tariq, who pitched to us Zon Tools, which is a PPC automation tool for Amazon sellers. To get started, Liz, what do you think about the Wise Fox Planner?
So I really liked, I'll tell you, my favorite part about what he's doing is that he'll be one of the first to market on the Australia FBA Amazon site. Like, I think that's got to be a competitive advantage for him going into that. I like the research that he's done with affirmations and what works and what doesn't work and how he's incorporated that into, a product that has a really more than solid existing marketplace, right? Like there's a lot of competition there, but he seems to have really put a ton of thought into why he's doing and what he's doing. And I know I mentioned this while we were talking to him, but I legitimately would write down questions and then he would answer them. So I'd have to, mark them off my list. So he came very prepared.
Yeah, I agree. It does seem like he's done his homework about how to effectively plan and kind of put that research into his particular planner. Some of the things that worry me about it is, I was like, okay, what's going to set apart your planner versus others? He thinks it's mostly branding. I don't know if I totally agree with that, especially on the Amazon marketplace. Seems like most people don't really care about branding. I think he has a strong feeling that, animal-based brands are going to do a little bit better. I don't know if I exactly agree with that. With that being said, though, there is a significant amount of demand on Amazon. Seems like the unit margins, for this particular product are pretty solid. They're pretty inexpensive to make. So I like all those things. Some of the other things I'd say that worry me is I think a lot of the existing successful brands on Amazon selling these types of planners have done quite a bit of outside sales. I know of one example, actually, just because I helped him with it, but John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire, he has one of these productivity planners on Amazon, and I helped him with some of the Amazon sales. He has a huge podcast following, right? He has sent a lot of traffic to purchase these on Amazon. So I'm worried that some of these sales numbers may be inflated.
I think one of the things that I wondered about is I'm not sure that he has quite enough of a specific niche for his target user. I know he's targeting the US and Australia, which is great, but I do think that to be successful in such a large market that he'll need to niche down a little bit more kind of within the productivity planner piece of it, and really find who those people are and where they're at. But he did have the Kindle and the other products that seem to be productivity based enough that he can push those sales. So I do think that's a pro in his column of being able to move that forward. That's
a good point. I like that too. He has shown historical success, on Amazon with his Kindle books, and a lot of those same characteristics carry over into selling physical products as far as finding the keywords to target. He probably does some PPC. He said, he has experience also building his own sites and driving traffic there. So he does have a background of tools that will help him be successful in this one. And overall, he just seems like a sharp guy. I think I got the impression he's the type of guy that could just figure things out. And, he's obviously done lots of homework leading up to this point. I think he's a self-learner. So him as a person, I can definitely see him being successful.
Yeah, I do think the fact that he's done, the kind of Amazon selling where it's it's hard to differentiate yourself in the Kindle book market if you're writing, without kind of a big name and a platform that you're pushing people over to. So he has had experience in this type of sale. So I think that works for him. And I agree with you that he seems like a self-learner and he's going to go out and figure it out and make it work. I mean, I kind of like the animal piece of it. I'm not going to lie. The fact that it's the Wise Fox planner.
Okay. What'd you think overall about his slide deck in his pitch?
He was so organized. I mean, he just had everything one right out there. I thought it flowed really well. He handled, what he's going to spend the money on, what his price points are, why he was doing this, what the pain point is. I mean, he's showing screenshots of Jungle Scout, showing all of his demand and his keyword research. I mean, I thought it was really put together very well.
Yeah, I thought it flowed nicely. If I were to give some critiques on how it could be improved, I was probably getting a little bit boring towards the beginning when he was kind of talking about the background or the research or whatever that he's done that leads to being like more productive. I think those like 5 slides could have been condensed into one just to show that like he's done his homework, he knows ways to improve on this, and then cut more towards the business aspects, which is I think what's more important.
The one other thing rather that I'll add about Roberts is the $10,000 for him will basically totally launch him. Like he's got the $6,000 in cost for the initial order. He's got $2,000 to $3,000 in shipping and, getting it over. And then he's got $1,000 left for PPC. So I think there is something to be said for, I mean, he basically can cover the project where he's at right now and move it into the next stage with the prize money.
That's a really good point. For him, the $10,000, it's going to get him launched. And then from there, he's going to make money where he can reinvest. This really would be like the seed money to start his business. And from there, I think like he could be successful without going on to raise more money. And like he brought to the table a clear plan for that. So I agree. I like that. So the other pitch we listened to was from Stefano and Tariq, who was pitching to us Zon Tools. Liz, tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on Zon Tools.
Well, it seems like a really cool tool. And I really like that this was something that he basically developed for himself. And then people started asking him for it. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this thing, and put it together for people because it could be useful for them as well. There was a lot of data in there that I don't know that everybody who listened was able to kind of follow all of it through that. So that was probably a little overwhelming from an initial standpoint of an introduction to the tool. But overall, I think that they are moving in a really positive direction with what they're doing. And I think I mentioned this when we were talking to them, but I love how much listening they're doing to the people in their beta. And it's taking an extraordinary amount of their time to develop this. But I do think that in the long run, that's going to pay off for them as they develop the tool.
I kind of said this during, when we were talking to them, but, like the PPC optimization niche is a great opportunity on Amazon right now. There's a lot of people, this is a growing market. There's a lot of people that want to use it. It's a proven concept both by, their competitors that are doing well. And, like I was saying before, in kind of other industries as well, or, there's like tools like this to help you optimize Google AdWords or Facebook ads or whatever else. And they've had success. So I like the market in general. As far as the presentation, which you touched on, you're right. It went into depth into a lot of things that I think people either don't care about, or if they're an Amazon seller, they already know, so don't need to know. The other thing that, my other kind of like beef with the pitch that they gave us is they presented a lot of problems that were on Amazon, but it wasn't clear whether or not their tool actually solves these problems. So I don't know. I might just still have these problems in my life. If so, like, I don't think you need to remind me of them.
Well, I would like to see, because I'm glad they're doing a beta. Like I said, I think they can do a lot of listening. I would like to see some case studies as they come out of the beta of like you're saying, taking these problems and how we solved them and by what percentages we solved them and what kind of success. Because they did have a couple testimonials, or one specifically that he put up on the screen that I thought was really good. But I think, overall, it would be good to see some actual concrete, and these are the numbers so that you can do the data analysis.
And I guess the other thing that wasn't clear to me was just why this tool is better than some of the competitors. The thing that I just kept bringing up was the price. But I think what I've found, and when I talk to most people, it's like, they don't care about spending like $30 a month if it optimizes $5,000 of PPC spend, right? Like, who cares about that? It's such like an insignificant amount of money. Like, if your tool just works like by 1% better, then who cares about even paying like $100 for it, right? So that's one thing that it's like, seemed like the only like differentiating factor, the only value prop they brought to it was that, hey, it's free. And it's like, okay, well, that's not a sustainable business practice, because it's like, okay, so like once you get 500 units, like, are you not gonna be able to offer me customer support anymore? Well, like, can I just pay you a little bit of money for that? And same thing, like, I'm well aware about the expenses of creating these software tools over time, and that's just not a sustainable model. It's one of the things, we kind of asked them about, what would you do with the $10,000? It's like, oh, we'd hire a customer success person. It's like, okay, well, so you have enough money to hire them for like 4 months or, however long. It's like, and then what? So there's still just not like a clear path forward for this business. I think the other major hurdle for them, which I was kind of asking about to see if they'd be, like aware of this, is it's really easy to build a tool and to get it like usable for a small number of people. The difference of the amount of work and kind of like resources it takes, specifically from engineers, to get it to like that first level and get it to where it's scalable and usable for thousands and thousands of customers, is like way different. I'd say it takes like 10% of the work to get it there for the first 100, and then the other 90% to get it there for the next like few thousand. And I imagine they're going to hit, some of those scaling pains pretty soon. And then after that, they need to be thinking a lot about, hey, why is my tool better than others? How can I differentiate? And how am I going to turn this into a business that's generating revenue so I can reinvest it in resources to work on my business?
I think the monetization piece of the whole conversation is the part for me that's the hardest to kind of move past. Is I totally understand where they're going with, we need to brand, we want to build, we want to have a name in the marketplace before we start charging. I understand the thought process behind that. I would love to see a little bit more of a plan for, we're going to do this for now. And then on the other side, we're going to move, towards monetizing with a monthly fee or, percentages.
I think the other thing that they'll probably run into is, I think it's fine for not to charge any money for it when you like say it's in beta. But beyond that, actually, a lot of people just don't trust tools, including myself, to be honest with you, that are free. Because it's like, okay, like, are you using my data for something else? Like, am I really the one kind of like being played here? That's kind of like the reason I don't trust, like free tools. Or it's like, just like, I don't understand how you guys can like support this to a level that would be adequate. Something else, before I give anyone my Amazon data, I want to make sure that they have resources working kind of like on the security of it, right? It's like, can someone else easily hack this and like steal my data? It's like all of a sudden this free tool doesn't seem like a good deal to me anymore. And I think they'll kind of like run into those issues as well. I would have felt a lot better if they just said like, hey, like, we got our first 100 beta customers, we're refining the tool after that, and then this is our pricing plan moving forward.
I could see, and I know I said this, like them doing some type of like, free at the beginning for a certain number, and then moving to like a premium for others to continue to onboard people, that kind of stuff. But I'm with you on that. I think that would be a good plan.
Yeah, premium pricing tiers to help, kind of like spread the word about it. But I totally agree with you. I do like that they're talking to lots of customers. That's the best way to like to help develop and build the tools. It seems like that both of them are very passionate about the tools, so I do like that side of it, right? You can tell they care a lot about this. They put a lot of their blood and sweat into building it, which is nice.
I do think it somewhat echoes your story a little bit, right? Too, like this was, you took a process and a strategy and automated it to make Jungle Scout as a tool for other Amazon sellers. And it's very similar to what he's doing, right? He's got this strategy and this, tool that he built for himself that now he's going to scale out for other sellers. So I do love what he's doing, because I think he's got a really solid, proof of concept behind it if this is what he's doing, and his business is extremely successful to the point where he's basically bankrolling this right now for them. So, I mean, that's a strong testimonial for what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw a lot of similarities between Stefano and myself. I think if I was them, if I was in their shoes, knowing what I know now, that I built a few software tools and, have a successful software businesses, at this point, if I was them, I'd probably look at either raising a significant amount of money from VCs like they talked about, or I would look at bringing on a few other people to the team and giving them like a significant equity stake. Because as I said, a few times now, just the resources required to get this to the next level where it's, like a robust, like well-run platform that has support and everything else, it just requires quite a bit of money. And even if you're charging the customers for that, I still know, for them to try to get out in front of some of these competitors that are much better funded, have much better teams working on this, it's going to be difficult to do. So that's what I would do if I was in their shoes. I'd try to raise like $500,000 from angel investors as like a seed round, or try to bring on some other people on the team that help them with it.
I think the only other hurdle is if talking about hiring somebody, this is going back to what we talked to a little bit ago, but hiring somebody to do customer success and onboarding for them, I think would be a significant amount of work for them at this point. I think they're almost better off continuing to do the onboarding because they're the ones so intimately, and have somebody else take on some of their other admin or those types of things. So that's my last piece of feedback.
All right, Liz. So we had two different businesses pitch us their idea today: Wise Fox Planner and Zon Tools. Who do you choose to move on to the next round to be eligible for the $10,000 prize?
My vote is for Rob with Wise Fox Productivity Planner.
I agree. As much as I love software, my vote is also for Wise Fox Productivity Planner. The main reason for me is just because I think it's just a business that has a plan. I think the $10,000 can go on to launch this business. From there, I think it'll be self-sustainable. With Zon Tools, I'm just seeing like a lot of energy and passion in it, but no clear business plan, how they're going to make this kind of like into a legitimate company.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rob's ability to basically go from where he's at to launched with the 10,000 is a big deal. And he's got a very clear path. He's got already got a supplier all set up and ready to go. And, he has a plan for if he doesn't win the $10,000 too, which I think is also significant. He's going to do a Kickstarter. He's got, so I think his vision and the way he's got it laid out just really speaks very highly of the direction he's going and the success that he'll have.
Yeah, I agree. And this product, I think, is just like, will just be like a launching point for him. Once he launches this and it's making money, then he can expand into other products, whether that's more productivity planners or other products. He can expand off of Amazon. I think it's a great launch channel, but, he could expand off of there through influencer marketing or, do a Kickstarter anyway, or he has lots of options to go from there. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that.
Liz, thank you very much for joining me and listening to this round of pitches on Go Pitch Win. It's been a blast, and I will see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Go Pitch Win podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us an honest review over on iTunes. Do you have a new business that needs seed money or a new project that you're ready to get up and going? There's a $10,000 prize for the winning pitch. So what are you waiting for? Get your pitching skills ready and apply over at gopitchwin.com. Join us for the next episode to hear more great business ideas and, of course, find out who will win the grand prize to make their business dreams come true.